Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Voodoo Vince, and the other day we had some different stuff happened. I posted a video not too long ago about some tips and tricks while playing Battleships. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff about Battleships. There hadn't been a whole lot of just let me help you to kind of get started. Shooting seems to be the primary thing, and shooting is very important in the game. Obviously, you need to do the correct lead, you need to figure out what the boat's doing, and there's a lot to it, but we're going to try and break down some basics for you. And so I'm going to do some very crude drawings here because that's the easiest way in which I can think to possibly do it outside of actually showing some video, which I'm going to also do. But the first thing we're going to do is something like this. So you have your gun sight. You know that it's here, and you've got a reticle here in the middle. Bear with me. I know it looks like shit. Don't worry about it. Anyway, and so you know you've got some markers out here. And so it'd be like 5, 10, and 15. You may have some mods that do it. And of course those same markers are going to be out here. I know it's not to scale. Just bear with me. So you have 5, 10, and 15. You go, what the hell does that mean? I don't know what the 5, 10, and 15 means. I thought it meant distance. I thought it meant time. I don't know what it means. But I can tell you where to put those markers to shoot properly at ships if you haven't modified your game. With standard velocity guns. Now, any fast shooting guns are going to totally throw this off. Scharnhorst, Dunkirk, some of your better cruisers are going to have high velocity guns. So if you know you have a high velocity gun, or if you go, how do I know? Do some looking and figure that out on your own on some of those ships. I can tell you some of the battleships that have faster firing guns. Most battleships, you don't have to worry about this. Scharnhorst and Dunkirk, you do. They have high velocity guns. They get there quicker, which throws this lead dynamic into a whole other can of worms. So you go, well, how do I use these things? Okay, so U.S. battleships, you go, okay, up until Tier 7, Colorado, slow, 20 knots or so. So you go, okay, well, yeah, I know they're slow. Voodoo, what the fuck are you trying to tell me? Well, what you do, on a 90-degree shot, and that's where this will count, they are 90 degrees to you, not turning, steady speed. They're moving at max speed for them, which is 20, 21 knots, unless they have some stuff, maybe 25. If you put your 10 indicator wherever you want to hit, line this actual line up, put it on the water line, meaning where the water meets the vessel, and put that 10 indicator where you'd like to hit. I like to put it right on the superstructure. Depending on dispersion and RNGesus, you should land some rounds on target. If you have your stuff on the water line, meaning this horizontal bar, if you put it on the water line and then can get a volley of shells into that area, you have a higher percentage of landing a citadel shot for two reasons. One, you're putting those shells in the highest percentage area to get those hits, the citadels, meaning that you go, well, okay, I'm brand new, Voodoo, I don't know what the hell a citadel is. A citadel is any of the important meat that's inside of the vessel. Your magazines and everything that sit underneath a turret, or any of the engines or turbines or boilers for your engines and such. These will be protected by armor, but the armor belt usually only extends, the armor belt being the section of armor that actually is covering up those vitals, depending on if it's a cruiser or a battleship. Most American battleships before Tier 7 were the all or none approach, meaning that everything is armored, meaning that they have armor everywhere. Later battleships only armored those sections that were important to cut down on the weight. That's why, like Tier 8, the North Carolina is so damn fast, because it only has armor in those sections that are important. That's how most cruisers are armored, only in sections that are important. Maybe they may have armor all the way around, but it's not real thick armor. So as a battleship shooting at a cruiser, again, you have to learn this, and this is something that I'll cover later about shooting at different targets and what to shoot at and what not to shoot at, HE versus AP, things like that. American battleships, 90 degrees to you, 20 knot battleships, Tier 7 and below, put this 10 indicator on their superstructure, let them have it. You go, okay, well, what happens if they're not 90 degrees to me? Okay, that's a whole other bag of worms. We're going to cover that here shortly. You go, okay, what about Japanese battleships? All right, well, Japanese battleships are much faster. You go, well, Voodoo, I already know that too. Okay, smart ass. 15. You go, that's it. That's it. 10 for American battleships, 15 for Japanese battleships. 90 degrees to you at full speed. If they're going slower, you need less lead. If they're going full speed, 15. And that's it. You go, well, that doesn't seem, that is it. Destroyers, whole other animal. So, let me see here if I remember how to do, this is awful, so let's just go new. No, I don't want to save Untitled. So, you go, okay, Voodoo Battle, Destroyers. I'm slow poking around. I'm in my Texas. I can shoot 17K. I see a destroyer. He's farting around there, and I know he's moving fast. I can see the smoke plumes going, and I know he's moving even faster than normal. 35, 37 knots. Super fast. Okay. Well, even though I don't know if they're going to end up modifying it, so let's change up our colors here. So we have, well, the fullest bar. So we have the, actually we need a brush. Let's do, let's see what this looks like. It looks like shit. That's what it looks like, but it'll be okay. Maybe. Yeah, fine. Let's go back one more time. Okay, so we have your gun sight. There it is, and here's your reticle there in the middle. And we're going to change to black, and you have your lead indicators out here. 1, 2, 3. So that's 5, 10, 15. And of course, again, 5, 10, 15. Okay, well, if I have to shoot at 15 for a Japanese battleship that's only doing 25 or 27 knots, what the hell do I have to shoot at? Let's just imagine that there's a 20 out here. You go, well, that's fucking painful. It is, because there isn't a 20 on there. You go, well, how the hell am I supposed to do that? Lots of practice. So, what you do, now some people on your zoom, I roll in and out. You'll notice it in my videos. I'll roll in. By rolling in, I mean I scroll wheel in and I scroll wheel out, the amount of zoom that I want, in and out. But 90% of the time, if I'm going to shoot from a zoomed position, I'll be zoomed all the way in. On destroyers, you do this for two reasons. You zoom all the way in, or shift zoom to max, and scroll wheel back 1. Two reasons why you do this. For one, this gets you a better angle of what he's doing. It allows you to move that reticle further out in front of him and still keep that ship in view. Because obviously if a battleship or if a destroyer knows he's been spotted, he's going to start maneuvering. But if he doesn't yet, or he thinks he's a smartass and he thinks he's going to sit there and fuck around where you can see him, but he doesn't think anyone can hit him because he's like, I'm a destroyer, I'm a small target, battleships aren't going to shoot at me. I shoot at them. I will tag one quick. And you only have to hit them one good time with HE or AP and you're, 2,000-3,000 damage. They don't have any way to repair that. So any damage you can do early in the game is something that makes them a little more leery, and it can win the game for you. So let's go back to what we're doing. We have a destroyer, full tilt, 30 plus knots. American, Japanese, doesn't really matter. You kind of get the deal. But again, this is where your dispersion actually comes into play. You're essentially firing at a point target, and your dispersion is going to kind of give you a scattered shot within an area. The odds of you hitting him more than one time is pretty low. But, number one, you're going to splash him, you're going to get him nervous, and if you do land some hits, well, you've done pretty well. So what you're going to do, you're going to zoom all the way in and zoom out 1 notch on your scroll wheel, just 1 click, just boop. And once you have that, you're going to estimate that distance from 15 to 20. The same distance that's here from, as soon as my tilt comes back. So from 10 to 15, estimate that same distance to the 20 mark. Just, you go, okay, I know it's about 1.5 inches on my screen. Just about that same distance. And you can fire a ranging shot if you want. But if he's not maneuvering, I'd give him the whole shebang. You're at 17, 18 kilometers. He can't shoot at you. He can't fire torps at you. Just let him have it. Just give him a salvo. See what happens. You're going to get detected probably, but who gives a shit? The odds are, if you do it correctly, you're going to either land damn close to him or you're going to hit him with at least 1 round. Usually, when I fire a salvo at a destroyer that's not maneuvering, I'll usually get 1 good hit. And you're talking, it might only be 500 damage, but that's 500 more damage than you had before. And sometimes I've even, I was going to say ammo rack, but detonated them and blew them up and all sorts of other crazy stuff. So, back to basics. Full tilt, 90 degrees to you. Shoot at the 20 mark. If there isn't a 20 mark, guesstimate it. It'll work for you. So you go, okay, Voodoo, well, that's cool. Everyone knows how to shoot at a target that's not moving. What about a target that is moving? Okay, whole other critter again. So let's go ahead and clear a little deal.